going to see about the pharmacology of estrogen. Estrogen is a primary female sex hormone which is responsible for the development and control of specific reproductive systems and specific secondary characteristics in the females. So, any substances which will mimic the effect of natural hormone, that is any natural or synthetic substances which will inhibit the effect of natural hormone is categorized under estrogen. So this is the estrogen which is responsible for the control of reproductive system and the secondary sexual characteristics. Any substances such as natural or synthetic substances which inhibit the natural hormone comes under the category of estrogen. There are three types of estrogen. First is the estrone, and the second is the estradiol, and the third one is estriol. Each type has its specific functions. Each is produced from various different types of tissues. Mainly estradiol is the more potent than the other two, which is produced in the ovaries, which is helpful for most of the body functions. There are three types of estrogen. First is estrone, and the second one is estradiol, and the third one is estriol. Each has its specific functions. These three were produced in various different types of tissues. From these three, estradiol is more potent, which is produced in the ovaries, which is helpful for the most of the body functions. So these are the type of estrogen. And the next we are going to see about the classification, how the estrogen is classified. Estrogen is classified by means of natural and synthetic. From natural, there are three types, that is estradiol, estrone and estriol. From synthetic, there are comes under the category of steroidal and non-steroidal. Steroidal has three types and non-steroidal has three types. So from steroidal, ethinyl estradiol, mestranol and tibonol are the three types comes under the category of synthetic steroidal estrogen. From the non-steroidal estrogen, that is diethylstilbestrol, hexatriol, dienstriol. So these are the types comes under the category of synthetic. There are two types. First is natural, and the second one is synthetic. For natural, it is estradiol, estrone and estriol, and for the synthetic, that is ethinysterol, mastranol, tibonol, and non-steroidal, that is diethylstilbestrol, hexastriol, dienstriol. So these are the classification, and we are going to discuss about the synthesis of estrogen, how the estrogen is synthesized in the body. So cholesterol is the main precursor for the synthesis of the estrogen. From cholesterol, it is then converted into pregnenolone, which upon converted into progesterone, which is then converted into androstenedione, which further undergoes oxidation and aromatization to form a testosterone and estrol, which is then converted into estradiol. So these are the synthesis of estrogens. So the first step is cholesterol. Cholesterol is the main precursor, which is converted into pregnenolone, which upon converted into progesterone, which is then converted into androstenedione, which undergoes oxidation and aromatization to form testosterone and estrol, which is then leads to the formation of estradiol. So this is the synthesis of estrogen. Next, regulation of estrogen. How the estrogen is regulated. Estrogen regulated by means where the secretion starts from the Graafian follicles. So there is three stages of menstrual cycle. So first is the follicular phase, and the second one is the ovulation phase. The third one is the menstrual phase. In follicular phases, the estrogen level starts to increase. So it will start secretion, where during in the ovulation phase, the corpus luteum increases the secretion up to more level for the 2 days before menstruation. So in menstruation, the secretion gets increased. In follicular phase, the secretion starts. In ovulation phase, it will increases, and in menstruation phase, it tends to increase. During pregnancy, the estrogen level is released by the placenta, which is up to at the level of 30 microgram per day. During in hypothalamus, it will have some secretion, but the secretion is up to the level of limited amount, that is 2 to 10 micrograms. So the secretion is regulated by the anterior pituitary and the hypothalamus. So the regulation of estrogen is happens by means of three phases. In follicular phases, estrogen secretion starts. In ovulation and menstrual phases, estrogen secretion tends to increase 2 days before menstruation. But during pregnancy time, estrogens are released by the placenta, which is up to the level of 30 microgram per day. The level of estrogen, however, decreases during post-delivery period, where in post-menopausal woman, it is expected to have the synthesis up to the level of 2 to 10 microgram, which is at the level of limited level. So this is the regulation of estrogen. Now we are going to see about the mechanism of action. What is the mechanism of estrogen? Estrogen will promote the DNA directed messenger RNA synthesis, that is, which is responsible for the synthesis of specific protein. So estrogen promotes DNA direct messenger RNA synthesis, that is specific protein synthesis, which is then bind with the specific intracellular receptors. Estrogen receptors are of two types, alpha receptor and beta receptor. So it will binds to the specific receptors and produce its actions. These receptors are present in the reproductive organ, breast, anterior pituitary and the hypothalamus. The number of estrogen receptor in the target organ is decreased by means of progestin, which is then increased by means of prolactin in the mammary gland. In target organ, it tends to decrease by means of progestin, where it is in the mammary gland, it tends to get increased by means of prolactin. Estrogen will also promote the synthesis of other progesterone receptors, which is present in the female reproductive organ, hypothalamus,